Hello everybody. I just wanted to take a moment to show you a new multi-tool that I got that a lot of people may be interested in, and there are no videos on YouTube about yet. SHOT Show, I believe it was SHOT Show 2018, the new SOGs were kind of shown to everybody, but this particular one is hard to come by. This is the SOG POWERPINT. This is the SOG POWERPINT. Not easy to get. I have a friend that works in a sporting goods store, large sporting goods store, and he told me that they had got some in and he was going to pick one up and wanted to know if I wanted one. So I said, sure, hook me up. So anyway, there's no videos on YouTube about this thing yet, so I thought I would make a video kind of showing you some things about this tool that I didn't know, and at least get the information out there as soon as possible. I have not had a chance to actually carry this, so this isn't really a review. This is more of a hey, you know, this is a more in-depth look at this thing, as opposed to just seeing the SHOT Show video that's about this tool. So I just wanted to kind of show it to you guys. So let's check it out here. First of all, when I got this thing, I was really excited about this tool because this tool has everything a multi-tool that I want. You know, I have certain tools that need to be on a multi-tool for me to be happy with it. And this one had all of those tools. For me, I have to have a pair of scissors. I use scissors a lot, so I have to have a pair of scissors. I have to have a file. That's like a must. And I have to have a blade that's not that's not a combination blade. I really am not a fan of combination blades. Those are the things that I look for in a multi-tool, those three things. So if it has those three things, or most of those three things, or a combination of those things where I can live with it, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So this on paper had all those things checked off, but I got this thing, and I got to tell you, you know, I looked at it and I was really disappointed as soon as I saw it. And sometimes you're disappointed and the disappointment turns to delight after you're like, well, this thing isn't what I thought it was going to be. I'm delightfully surprised that it's something else, but what it actually is turns out to be something I like anyway. You know, that kind of thing can happen, or it's just total and utter disappointment, like this Gonzo 301. This actually went a different way for me. I got this tool, and initially I got it out of the package and I was like, wow, this is really nice. And then in actual usage, I found this thing to be the worst multi-tool I've ever used, except for the pliers. The plier part of this tool I like. Everything else about this tool sucks. Maybe one day I'll make a follow-up video to this. Anyway, but that's just an example of a tool that disappointed pretty badly. So what I thought this tool was, let me see, where is it? Okay, what I thought this tool was from what I knew about it from the very short videos on YouTube was that it was kind of a competing product to the Leatherman Wingman. You know, so I thought it was going to be a full-size, like a full-size tool, like it was going to be a big tool. But as you can see right here, it's totally not a full-size tool. These are lined up. You know, it's definitely smaller in every dimension than the Leatherman Wingman. And I'm going to go ahead and compare this directly to a Wingman for one reason, because I have a Leatherman Wingman, and I believe that that's what this tool is competing against, is the Leatherman Wingman. I think that this is exactly what the market they were trying to go after. The you know, under $50 or $50-ish mark. You know, kind of a mid-use tool, light use tool, mid-use tool, definitely not heavy use tool, in that general vicinity of kind of niche. So that's what I thought it was. But as you can see, when I got it, I was very disappointed to see that this thing is super small. It's not as small as like a Gerber clutch. Like this is a Gerber clutch, and this is a really small tool, right? So let's take a look at this. Like this is a really small tool. You know, it's got really, you know, really small pliers. It's got, you know, it's just a really small, this is a light duty small pocket tool. So comparing it to that, this is more substantial. The PowerPint is more substantial than that. I mean, it's got real pliers. These are not real pliers. I don't consider these to be real pliers. These aren't real cutters. These aren't real anything. These are just, this is just a glorified, this is really just a glorified fingernail file thing, you know, that you keep in your pocket to keep your fingernails trimmed. I mean, really, that's all this thing is. It's not really much more than that. Some people really love these, don't get me wrong. You know, these smaller pocket tools that you keep on your keychain, or should I call these keychain tools? This is a large keychain tool. This is a pocket tool, I guess is what you could say that this is. It's got real pliers, but see, the pliers are a little bit bigger than the Gerber clutch, but they're not that much bigger, but they are substantially like stouter. They're more of a substantial plier. And these have, you know, these have a crimper, these have a wire cutter. I mean, these are a real tool, and they come down to a really fine point. These are super fine point. I mean, you can see that there's a really super fine point on these where you can really do some delicate work with these. I mean, the best thing about this tool is clearly the plier. It's got the compounding lever mechanism that SOG is known for. It does have that. It does operate. It does work. It's pretty nice in that respect. It does have the where it is, 1/4" driver. It does have the 1/4" driver, and this actually works really surprisingly well. There's a small magnet in here, and it kind of holds the tool in place, you know, whatever tool you put in here. And this holds this really well. Like I tested this out, and I was able to drive screws into wood and everything with these, like no problem. I really like this. It was comfortable. It's fine. This works surprisingly well. The pocket clip on this thing, it has a pocket clip. This works surprisingly well. I really like that. So when you open this tool up, after you get past the pliers, which the pliers are really the highlight of this thing. I mean, I can't stress that enough. So all of the tools are accessible when it's closed. Like all the tools are on the back side of this. And I got opinions on this, but I'm not gonna kind of get into it here, other than to say that some of the multi-tool kind of things that we've known to be like that you have to have on current multi-tools, or tools that you can access from the outside, one-hand opening tools, all of this stuff I thought was important to me. I thought was super important. Like tools had to have that. Like here's like on the Wingman, you've got, you know, the main blade and the scissors are accessible from the outside, and I really thought that was important. But when I got to really thinking about it, this isn't important. This is a gimmick. This opening from the outside, I know that a lot of people like this, you know, that you can open it, but if you compare this to a one-hand opening pocket knife, which I wish I had one here to show you what I'm talking about, You pull this out of your pocket, and if you try and use this one-handed, you're like, you know, the joints are so tight on multi-tools, most of them. I mean, come on, that's not a one-handed opening tool. So I'm like, who cares about that? You know, now that I've really thought about it logically, and I got my mindset out of, you know, what the standard consensus a multi-tool should have, like I don't, you know, if I try and think logically about things, and I've had a multi-tool all the way back to, where is it? Here's, you know, the PST. This is my first multi-tool that I've ever had. I still have it. So I've been carrying a multi-tool every day for more years than probably a lot of you have been alive. So I have multi-tool opinions. I use multi-tools regularly. They are part of my EDC. So that being said, when I think about these one-handed opening tools, or tools that open from the outside of the multi-tool, I've come to the conclusion, in my personal opinion, that that is not a requirement for me. I don't care about that anymore. But this has that. So if that is something that you're looking for, then great tool. You do not have to open it to get to the tools, if that's something you care about. So let's start with the first tool here on this side. That is a serrated blade. Okay, now this serrated blade is super small. I mean, it's not as small. Again, tool's not as small as this. This is ridiculous. I don't really know what the reason to carry one of these is. Actually, as you can see, I've carried this pretty extensively. I have used the snot out of this, so my opinion is one from a guy that's carried one of these pretty extensively. I don't find them to be very useful for my personal you know, stuff. So this blade is serrated, but it's kind of short. Let me see if I have a blade that's serrated, that's a serrated blade. Is there a serrated blade on the Bucklight? Let me see, can't remember. Nope, no serrated blade on the Bucklight. When it comes to serrated blades, I'm a little bit shy on serrated only blades. Here we go, here's a serrated only blade on the Schrade Super Tool, or the Schrade Tough Tool. Schrade Tough Tool, very first version, by the way. I've carried this a long time, and I have beat the ever-loving hell out of this knife. It's too bad they didn't continue to make versions of this. I kind of ended up liking this. I especially like the pliers of this stupid thing. But anyway, here's a normal sized knife blade, or you know, a bigger knife blade, and if you line these up, that's what you end up with right there. So you end up with a slightly shorter than normal serrated blade, just so you know, just to give you a kind of a comparison of what you're looking at. Okay, so the first one's a serrated blade, and let's close this. All of these tools lock, by the way. So the next one is the can opener. I'm not really certain how well this can opener works. It looks a little small, but it does look like it will open a can, no problem. But in order to get to the Phillips screwdriver, what do we got to do here? Go through some. Got to be careful not to cut your flange. That's what you got to do. All right. So the next one is the Phillips screwdriver. This is a 3D Phillips screwdriver, but it's really small. I don't know how well you can see that, guys, but that's a really small Phillips. Not sure what the size it is. Let me see if it says what size it is, so I can tell you. Let's see here. Boop, 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 boop. It's a #1 Phillips. #1 Phillips, it says. Okay. So, you know, small Phillips. The next tool is a soda pop cap lifter. You know, it looks like that'll work just fine. I don't know why the hell, you know, they keep putting these on every multi-tool in the world. Even this one, check this out. This is my little Leatherman pocket tool. First, what do they call this, a Piranha or something like that? Anyway, this is the first version of it, And I mean, they put cap bottle openers on every one of them. I mean, do we really need bottle opener? Like 35 bottle openers in your pocket? Okay, so that's a bottle opener. All right, now moving on. The last tool on this side is scissors, okay? Now, see, hopefully you can see these. Let me get these in, because this is an important thing here. These scissors are easily the worst scissors I've ever seen on a multi-tool, and that includes this Serrated, what do they call this? The Serrated Chirp. The Serrated Chirp. This is also an old multi-tool, but this was a dedicated scissor, and the idea behind this is I was carrying a multi-tool that didn't have scissors, so I carried this little small thing. But the scissors on this thing are atrocious. They absolutely suck. So that was the idea about that. Kind of like with the Leatherman, what do they call that? The Leatherman Micro or something like that. Kind of the same concept. But the scissors on this thing, the spring is crazy hard to push. And then the handle part right here, this top part handle that you push down on for the scissors, it actually impacts the frame. It rubs against the frame of the scissor. So it's anything but smooth. It feels cheap, gritty, super uncomfortable to push down. It takes a lot of force to push the scissor down. I actually had a piece of paper here, and trying to use these scissors, you know, it's a joke. I mean, this is a joke. This is a scissor that is, I don't know, at best, you know, barely usable. I mean, it works, but I wouldn't call these a good pair of scissors. They're better than nothing. Like, I could see, you know, chipping a chunk out of a fingernail or something and using these to, you know, to fix that or whatever. So they'd work for that. But as far as, like, you know, cutting through paracord or anything of that nature, I just don't see these things being very useful other than that. So let's go ahead and put these away, and you have to hit the lock here, push it down. All right, now on to the other side. The other side, here's your knife. Again, it's a small knife. Give you a comparison. Here's the Wingman. Let's go to the Wingman. Here's the knife compared to the Wingman. You know, okay, if you line them up, so you can see that there's not a lot of knife there. You know what I mean? That is a pretty small knife. Okay. But it is not a combo knife, and I really like that about it. And this knife is really sharp. It came really sharp. I like that about it. Again, the one-handed opening part of it is pretty, you know, that's, like I was saying before, not something I'm looking for in a tool, because I just don't think these are really true one-hand opening tools. I don't think any of them are. Here it is, you got your little thing right there, and if I try to open this one-handed, yeah, I mean, I can do it if I'm really thinking about it, but again, I don't really think in realistic everyday use you're going to do that. You know, you're probably going to pull this out of your pocket, da-da-da-da-da, and go, okay, here's my knife, let me find my knife, and you're going to pull your knife out with your fingernail. So, that's just my personal opinion. Now, this awl, I really like this awl. This awl is really well designed, in my opinion. I don't know how sturdy and strong it is, because this is a smaller multi-tool. But as far as the design of this awl, I mean, I am really liking this. This is like one of the best things about this tool is this awl. It's super crazy sharp. It's got 2 spots for threads. I mean, it locks super positive. I mean, it is short because this is a small tool. I mean, it's a short awl, but holy smokes, what a great design, in my personal opinion. Now, as far as its strength, because it has these slots, these 2 slots and stuff, I don't know. Like, again, this is a small tool. If you go cranking on this super hard, well, that's on you. That's like unrealistic expectation to take a small tool like this and really, you know, send it through a 1/2-inch thick piece of leather or something. Like, I don't think that's realistic use of the tool. And if it were to break in that situation, and then you start going, well, this thing's a piece of crap because that's broke, I don't think that's realistic. So that's my opinion. The thing is you have to know your tool, know its limitations. You can see that this is small. You can see that the design would compromise a little bit of its strength. So you wouldn't want to go trying to push this through, you know, a couple layers of Kydex or something. Like, you just wouldn't do that, right? Okay. But other than that, super duper love the design of that tool. All right, so let's take the lock down. Now the next tool is an eyeglass size screwdriver. Again, really like the design of this screwdriver. Really like this screwdriver. I can see this being a very useful tool. I'm very much impressed with this screwdriver. I like it a lot. Yeah, that's very sharp, very small, very well made. I really like that. That is a good screwdriver right there. And then the next one, now a lot of guys are going to disagree with me on this. Let me get this out of here. This tool, I think, is awesome. I love this tool. This is like one of those kind of hook blades or gutting knife kind of blades. Except this is not designed for that, in my opinion. What I think this is designed for is to open those shitty packages, you know, like, is this, yeah, like these, like this package this damn tool came in. I just see this being a really useful tool for that because it's sharp on this edge right here, right? I don't know if this is true. This is speculation. I have not used this at all. I pulled this right out of the package and started filming for you guys, okay? So it's sharp here on this edge, and I just think you could just push through the side of this plastic crap and then just hook, you know, like grab onto the side of this and just hook cut the crap. See, watch. Just hook cut the whole, oh man, I hit the camera. Sorry about that, guys. But you could just hook pull this whole piece of plastic, and I think you can get into boxes. You can get into these, you know, these shitty packages, these bubble wrap packages and stuff. Super easy with this thing. I can see this getting a ton of use, in my opinion. All right. So really love this part right here. Okay. That's my personal opinion on that, and I will go ahead and close that. Now the final tool on this side is the file. Now, oh man, guys, this you're not going to like this part. This file is worthless. It's not even as good. Okay, check this out. This is a fingernail file, right? Out of a multi-tool I have over here. Fingernail file. This, like sandpaper texture, is more than this. This isn't even qualify as grip scale. This is terrible. This is less than, you know, like, see how they used this ridging right here for grip? This is more grippy than this file. This file is garbage. And from what I'm reading online, the file on all the new SOGs are garbage. I mean, it's not even good for filing your nails because it's too thick. I mean, it's a full thick, you know, as far as the thickness goes, it's thick like a regular file. So if you try and stuff this underneath your fingernail, I mean, it's not even filing my fingernail. This is serious garbage. The other side is even worse. You know, the smoother side is absolute garbage. This file is probably the worst file I have ever seen. This is just so bad. This file is so bad that I can't believe this made it into the final production of this tool. I would hope that SOG offer some sort of replacement, because this tool can come apart. I would hope that they would offer a replacement for this. So keep in mind, if you're buying this tool for a small file, you will be highly disappointed in this file. This file is junk, okay? All right, so to put that away, I don't know what more to say about that. Okay, so the final tool here is all your extra screwdrivers, your bits, your Torx bits, your flathead, your other Phillips and stuff like that. You can carry little, standard size 1/4 inch tools, and then just you pop them in here, and then you can totally use that, right? And I really find that to be way more useful than I thought. When I first saw SOG was doing that, I was like, yeah, so what? But I am whistling a different tune on that now. Okay, so we got these. So here's a bit kit from that Gonzo, right? So, I mean, you have all of these tools that you could use. You got all these different multi sizes of Phillips and flatheads. You got 3 flatheads. Here's some hex ones, and then Torx, all of that kind of stuff is all at your fingertips, just depending on what bits you want to take. Now, I find that to be super useful. I'm really liking that a lot more than I ever thought I would. Like, you can pull any of these out and you can stuff them in here, and now you've got that tool. And I really like that. Same with the extensions. You can put extensions in here, make this longer if you want. This really works really well. I've watched some reviewers talk about other SOG tools that have this feature, and they said that they had to kind of, squeeze loose. None of that's going on for me. I put the tool in here. I don't know if they changed something for the new ones, made this a little bit tighter tolerance or whatever, but you put something in here and you just hold it down, and it works really well. I'm not having any trouble with that at all. Okay, so let me see, is there anything else I can tell you about this tool? As far as the inches and centimeters, I mean, pretty hard to read, but yeah, it's there. I mean, if I had to measure across this, for instance, yeah, I could do that, whatever. Probably not what you want. Now, before you even ask, these black pieces right here that are part of the locks, I thought this was plastic at first, but under closer inspection, it is not. These are metal. I have no idea why they're painted black. I'm not sure, but it makes it look, in my personal opinion, I think painting these pieces black kind of makes it look a little chintzier than if they were all the same color. I don't know, it just made me stop and think, is that a piece of plastic right there? Because if that were a piece of plastic, that would be a problem. I would really not like that. Lanyard ring right here, by the way. The compounding pliers, the compounding pressure pliers here, very useful. Crimper right here looks to be very good. Looks like you could really crimp down on something with that real well. It's just, I guess, the physical size of it. If you're looking for a small multi-tool that is definitely more substantial than the pocket tools or keychain tools like these, because these are almost worthless unless you just want to trim up your fingernails. And if you want to trim up your fingernails, why wouldn't you just get a fingernail clipper? If you're wanting something more substantial than this, but you don't want to carry a full-size medium duty multi-tool like a Wingman, or you need pliers, or you would carry a Swiss Army tool of some kind, a Swiss Army knife of some kind, that doesn't have good pliers, so I guess it's a really good in-between. Like, it's in between super small worthless to medium duty full-size multi-tool. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. It's far from perfect, but it's so close it could have been. I mean, it's really kind of a little depressing how close this comes to being great. It's made in China. just so you know, I mean, some of the older SOG tools were made in the United States. This is not. This is a Chinese-made tool, but it is of high quality. It feels very high quality. I'll report back after I use this a lot. Like, I plan to carry this in my, and put this in my EDC rotation. I plan to carry this, and we'll give it a go. And one last thing before we go, let's just see how much it weighs. I know what they claim it weighs. All right. So it weighs 4 ounces. I mean, that is 4.5 ounces. That's super awesome. I mean, that you're hardly going to know you're carrying that. Okay, so what does a clutch weigh? Well, a clutch is, 2.75. So this is definitely smaller and lighter, but it's way less capable. This is almost next to nothing, in my opinion. Okay, what does it weigh compared to, let's say, the Wingman? What's the Wingman weigh? The Leatherman Wingman. The Leatherman Wingman is 6.55. So it's definitely lighter and smaller than the Wingman. I mean, you can feel it in your hand. This is significantly heavier. And I don't think that this is any more capable as long as the size is not an issue, because these have, this doesn't have a full-size Phillips screwdriver. These tools are so freaking hard to get out. That's one of the things I hate about Leatherman, is how hard all the joints are and how you got to freaking crank everything to get everything to open, and the tools and everything to come out. But this is a 2D Phillips screwdriver. This is a short one-sided file. It's one-sided. It's got this hook tool. Maybe that's why I like this other hook tool so much. This is actually a very useful hook tool too, now that I'm thinking about it. I use this a lot too. So, combination bottle opener, cap lifter. So as far as capability goes, I think that this is the same capability in a bigger package. That's all that this is. This is probably more capable. This has more tools than this does, but this is just larger. So, I mean, if that's what you're looking for, this is going to fit the bill perfectly. But if you're like me and you think this is going to be the same size as this, you'll be disappointed like I was. But after playing with it and actually thinking about it logically, you never know. This might be my new favorite EDC, man. This might just be exactly what I've always wanted and didn't know that I wanted it. I just wish the file was at least usable. I think the file, you might as well snap that file off and you'd never know the difference. That's how crappy that file is. And I'm really, really disappointed that they put that file on there. I mean, I can't stress enough how crappy this file is. So, that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Let me know in the comments what you think about this new SOG tool. Are you interested in buying one? What do you think of it? Is there any questions that you have about it? Is there something that I missed that you want to know? Just definitely drop it down in the comments and I'll try and answer it for you. When I first got this, I was disappointed, but now I'm not. I'm glad that I have this. I think that this is in fact going to either end up in an EDC bag or an EDC pouch at the very minimum, but I'm going to carry this as my main multi-tool for a while and see how it works out. I know when it comes to a big job, that's where I'm going to go, damn, this thing sucks, When it comes to something big, that I need a full-size multi-tool for, that's when I'm going to start cussing at it. But as far as EDC, like everyday carry, going to work every day, just doing your everyday routine, maybe this is exactly what we need, but we didn't realize that we needed it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Talk at you guys later. On that end.